Uncle Murda, Tony Yayo, and Memphis Bleek are just plain embarrassing.
Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda was on Gilly and Wallow's podcast earlier today, and they went berserk on Memphis Bleek. Now, the reason why they're going berserk on Memphis Bleek is because of an interview that Memphis Bleek did, last week?
Paying your bills, cuz. That's what it is. And compete. That's why they talk like that. If 50 said 1 year, these in a shelter, they shouldn't be allowed to talk about us or anybody when you literally are a dependent. That's insane to me, man. Like, they even wear their jewelry without their boss. Show me a picture of Yayo walking around with his chain, the passport chain, without 50 Cent there. I gotta see it. But they taking care of they ain't. We take care of ourselves.
I think I heard Yayo say that you and which is crazy. He said you and Jay's friendship is just was more business. I've never seen it.
Well, him and 50 friendship is just financial.
That was a direct response to Uncle Murda and Tony Yayo accusing Jay-Z of not taking care of their guys, bringing up Memphis Bleek. So Memphis Bleek's response was they're only using 50 Cent, their liabilities, they don't really got bread. So Uncle Murda and Tony Yayo responded back, and they unloaded, essentially going out of their way to prove to Memphis Bleek that they do have money, and they'll actually reverse the accusation and call Memphis Bleek broke and claim that he can't rock with them.
Yayo got a second win on his own without 50. I went on Vlad. Yo, you bugging. I went on $1 Million a Game. That took me there. I went on Shannon Sharp. I went on all these big platforms by myself and sold my personality just like y'all do. But going to continue to hate. You had your 1 day on stage with Jay, which is cool. Feel good.
Would you be to elaborate? Would you be what day on stage?
It was 1 day on stage with Jay. It's cool. So I know you're gonna feel good about yourself. Want to pump out your chest. Then you want to sell a record.
What you mean when Jay just performed?
Yeah, when Jay just performed. He had 1 day out. You know, we do that with 50 every other week. Blew a couple of shots at him. He might feel like, oh, wow, this saying that. What businesses you have? This is my business right here. Unit dispensary.
No, because one of the things I did see that he said was that, you know, Jay don't gotta take care of him. You know,
but nobody's taking care of me.
But hold on, let me finish.
That's where you're getting it wrong. I don't pay my bills. Don't pay my taxes. My first house is bought off my album.
He said something pertaining to you too, Murda, about if
he said something about me.
If
I ain't hear this.
Oh, you did? Oh,
no, I ain't know he said something about me. You talking about me?
No, maybe it wasn't you.
Oh, okay.
If 50 stopped for a year, it'll be over.
I will be in a trap. What is you talking about? If I can't, I'm still a street.
We got a successful weed dispensary business, and I know Bleek said he got a restaurant. I don't mind. We can do this too. We could go. Let's see what you made last month, and we can show what we made last month, and we could continue to do month for month to see who's making more money as far as that business is concerned. We could go business for business as far as that, right? And we could go Bitcoin for Bitcoin because I got a bunch of those too. So as far as me being back in the hood, that would never happen. And we could show houses too. I got a pool. We could show who houses flyer and all type. We could do that. We could go Bitcoin for Bitcoin. Hold on. We could go Bitcoin for Bitcoin. We could do this. And back to that shit.
Right? You starting like
no, I'm just saying back to that. I'm dead serious.
Yeah,
back to that.
Right now.
I'm on 1,000. I'm on 1,000.
You talking about
Bitcoin for Bitcoin, bank account for bank account, and business statements for business statements. And we can do it next week.
Yo, look.
And let's check the transactions. You know how you can scratch it out so nobody wire nobody nothing. Let's see how much money really got. And check the safe. Because we got the safe money too. I got a safe in the crib. And I just took my kids first class flights on Disney. We was in Disney World. I do with the kids.
Lights up, mics up. Let's get these likes up. Hit that subscribe. Welcome to another episode of Talking Facts. My OGs are embarrassing at this point, guys. My OGs are arguing who got the most money. My OGs are arguing who's the most dependent. Newsflash, all of y'all dependent because you are under the wing of other guys, and that's okay. We know that you're Jay-Z's man, and we know that you're 50's man. I don't know why these guys are so worked up and so mad about it. It is not a secret. It's not an industry insider information that Tony Yayo 100% would literally be in jail or dead or on the block, all messed up, because he just told you, I will be back in the trap. We know that Uncle Murda would be doing the exact same thing that Tony Yayo's doing. They would be two peas in the pod. And Bleek would probably be back in Marcy Projects. I'm just going to be honest. Now, the beautiful thing is they're not. They're all gentlemen of a certain age. And we're at a point where we're seeing these legends become podcasters, gang. And I don't know if it's good or bad. One thing we can say for sure, Nori started this, gang. I'm going to blame Nori of the Drink Champs podcast show, because Nori showed these guys how to fish, right? Teach a nigga that fish, right? He taught them how to fish, and they learn how to fish. And what fishing includes these days is trolling, arguing, bickering, talking shit, making sure your name stays in the zeitgeist, and gossiping. I'm just going to be honest. Now, I got respect and love for all these guys because they all are, to one degree or another, a part of my history, a part of my past. All of them. And I have a different story for all of them, okay? But at the end of the day, I want to talk about this because what I'm starting to see is a dangerous pattern of OGs not being really OG-ish. These guys aren't being very OG-ish, okay? They're going on podcasts, and I'm going to be honest, Meek was just defending himself, but they're going on podcasts to stir up shit because they all got podcast deals, and they all want to be the #1 fastest growing podcast, and guess how you do that in 2026? You stir up shit with other people. Sorry to say, sad to say, we're seeing Jim Jones do it at an all-time rate. I can sit down and go down the list of how many of these guys do these podcasts and do these shenanigans. Matt Hoffa and others, they do these shenanigans. They get clicks and views, and it works because the sponsors swoop in and give them money. They give them money. 100% Noriega started this trend of old-ass rappers, right? I mean all this respectfully, but old-ass rappers going out of their way to stir up some shit or bring up some old-ass story or both. And Nori is a part of this because he's one of the people that Tony Yayo mentioned Memphis Bleek and Jay-Z on. So let's rewind, right? Like Hamilton, rewind, right? We're going to rewind. And what we're going to start from the start is 50 Cent has an issue with Jay-Z, okay? Since very long time ago, right? I'm about $1. Who the heck is 50 Cent, right? 50 Cent has had an issue with Jay-Z since How to Rob. Okay, that's a very long time ago, gang. I'm going to venture to say How to Rob is at least 20 years ago, minimum, okay? And over the years, 50 Cent has increasingly shown a disdain for Diddy, Jay-Z, and others that are considered to be in power, except for like a Dr. Dre and an Eminem, who he has undying love for because they changed his life. But the people in power in hip-hop, 50 Cent has had a problem with him. And he has had a problem with Jay-Z, okay? 4 years. Not since 5 years ago. 4 years, it's been an issue. If you're in the G-Unit camp, you take on all of 50 Cent's beefs. What happened when you don't? You are the game. You get kicked out unceremoniously, and we beef for 20 years. So Tony Yayo has realized he don't want to be the game, right? He don't want to be the guy that's ostracized and on the outside looking in. Because Tony Yayo, if he ain't nothing else, he knows where his butter is breaded. I mean, his bread is buttered. He knows where the money comes from. Tony Yayo is very street smart. And he learned at a very young age, 50 could give me a bag. And he does not take that for granted, gang. He know he could be here or prison or somewhere else, but I'm going to choose to be here because I get to eat lobster, steak and shrimp and snails and all kind of good stuff. Goats with jam and everything else. So he gets to go to all these exotic places if he stays in the good graces of 50 Cent. Now, that means he takes on 50's beefs. And he spreads 50's message, which is one of the messages is that Jay-Z this, Jay-Z that. So when Tony Yayo went on this run of this round of runs, because they do it every year, they go on a certain round of runs, they get certain questions, and they answer the questions. Now, for whatever reason, not once, not twice, for a while now, Tony Yayo has been on this Jay-Z don't help people podcast run. And for some reason, he said it on more than one podcast, Jay-Z don't help nobody. Now, gang, I'm going to keep it a buck. 15 years ago, yeah, that was a prevalent statement in hip hop. Hip hop has certain narratives, and one of the narratives is Jay-Z don't help nobody. Jay-Z a snake. Look what he did to Dame Dash. Jay-Z all about himself. He all about business. Jay-Z self. It's certain narratives that hip hop has 100% decided this is true. One of those narratives is Jay-Z don't help Bleek. Jay-Z don't help nobody other, which is not true, but that's a narrative when you don't like them. They come out of the woodwork. If I put up a post right now, they'll come running. Jay-Z don't help nobody. Look what he did to Dame Dash. So it's like it's a whole narrative. Tony Yayo knows that. He's pushing narratives. He's pushing buttons. So he went on the podcast run, and he said that more than once, right? Jay-Z don't help Bleek. Look at Bleek, blah, blah. Everybody thinks Bleek's broke. We don't know what Bleek got going on. Right? Jay-Z said he did fan the flames. As long as I'm alive, Bleek's a millionaire. Well, Bleek is actually working for a living. He does things. He runs Duce. I told you I used to do promotions. I did a promotional show. Wasn't a promotional show. I paid him. But I did a show with Memphis Bleek. Memphis Bleek came. He had 2 bottles of Duce. Gang, this was years ago. This was probably, gang, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Easily over 10 years ago. He came with 2 bottles of Duce. He said, I got 2 bottles. One has to be visible on the counter, and the other one is for me. You got to set it up where I'm going to be sitting at, because I can't drink none but Duce. I am the spokesman, the president, whatever he was of Duce. That is his job, to promote and get Duce out into the world. He gets paid to do that. And when he did that show, that's the first time I taste Duce. Very smooth. It's a good liquor. Okay? So that is Memphis Bleek's job, to promote Duce alcohol. Right? But nobody really knows. Let's be honest. We don't know what that pays. We don't know what he makes. So nobody knows what Bleek does. And so the narrative is that Jay-Z got to be helping Bleek, because if he's not helping Bleek, he got to be broke. I remember hearing Bleek was on Drink Champs, and I'm listening to him talking, and half of the time he's talking, I'm just like, I wonder what Bleek actually really do. How much money do Jay actually give Bleek? Because we don't know what he does. But gang, contrary to popular belief, Meek works for a living. But somehow, some way, Yayo is going to do what he does. He's gonna get that narrative out there, because they got to do it. I don't know if it's in the contract, but they got to get that anti-Jay-Z rhetoric out there. So he goes, look at Bleek. Jay-Z don't help Bleek. And I guess it was one too many times, one too many punches in the gut. Bleek got tired of hearing that. Okay, sooner or later, you're going to snap back. This is what I'm noticing this year. I'm noticing guys will attack you and then attack you again, and then they lay back and wait for you to respond. And when you respond, they launch a full-fledged onslaught at you as if you weren't supposed to respond. I feel like that's what's going on with Meek right now, right? But Meek got tired of the word. Yeah, the word got back, like Ghostface say. Yeah, the word got back to Meek. And Memphis Bleek. And Bleek finally responded to this narrative that Jay-Z don't help him. We don't know what Jay-Z does or don't do, right? Apparently, I think Bleek might have went into bankruptcy for some reason, this, that, or the third. I don't know, but that would lead one to assume, damn, Jay ain't even looking out for Bleek. This is how the streets work. If I'm not mistaken, Bleek had into a financial trouble. And the first thing in my mind is that line, as long as I'm alive, Bleek's a millionaire. Your mind started to wonder, well, goddamn, how you a millionaire? You going bankruptcy? But you don't realize that 50 declared bankruptcy too. The one that's funding the whole Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda rite of passage. That guy that's giving them all these like Tony Yayo said, he putting us in rooms with people that run the whole Iran. Like he said, 50 put us in rooms we could never be in. So that guy himself declared bankruptcy too, right? So we don't know what the reason was. But this word got back that Tony Yayo, once again, this old ass 20-year-old narrative that Jay don't do nothing for Bleek. Bleek, rightfully so, said, man, he don't need to do nothing for me. And that's why I said, yeah, 15 years ago, that narrative was pervasive in hip-hop, and it made sense to us. We like, yeah, man, Jay don't be looking out. Not me, I didn't care one way or other. But a lot of people like, Jay don't be looking out, man. Yo, listen, it's some bullshit. But we not 29 no more. We not in the hood. We're not in the block. Nobody should be looking out for you. My G, that shouldn't even be in your vocabulary. That's old school mentality. That's young-minded. That's petty. That's childish. That's silly. Sitting there thinking somebody's supposed to be looking out. Good looking out, true. Good looking out, my G. No. You can't wake up every day looking for a handout and a lookout. So 15 years ago, yeah, that was cool to ride the internet. Now in 2026, being in your 50s, to say that somebody ain't looking out for somebody else sounds weird. And Memphis Bleek had a point. He was cooking. He said that. Let me read this article. We're going to have this conversation because I want to make sure we get the whole thing popping. But at the end of the day, you're going to see, Challz, you're right. Your OGs are embarrassing. And these ain't necessarily my OGs. They are somebody's OGs. These are OGs to somebody. And it's embarrassing. Let me read this. Uncle Murda went nuclear after Gilly the Kid claimed, not exactly correctly, that Memphis Bleek said something about him. This is by Jose Martinez on Complex News. So, gang, first of all, I don't even think that Memphis Bleek said anything about Uncle Murda, right? I really don't. He was talking about 50. I'm sorry, he was talking about Yayo. And the only thing he said that you could even come close to saying it, he said they. He said they would be in the shelter. Who is they? He didn't say Uncle Murda. But let me continue. Uncle Murda did not hold back when responding to Memphis Bleek's alleged comments about him on the latest episode of $1 Million Worth of Game. Murda seemed content with giving Tony Yayo the runway to address Bleek's remarks on Jim Jones, artist to artist, until Gilly the Kid claimed mistakenly that the former Rockefeller artist said something pertaining to you too, Murda. Now, Gilly being messy, gang, I'm just going to be honest, and this is why the OG, I'm including them in this conversation too, they're embarrassing too. Willie, Gilly, Wallow, or we say Willie and Gallo, fuck it, whatever. Tony Yayo, all of them, it's embarrassing because they're too old to be sitting up there. First of all, Bleek not there to defend himself. They went into a whole tirade about a dude they know. They know Bleek. So the only reason that you're going to be talking about Bleek when he's not there is to stir some shit up. So all of y'all are embarrassing. End of the day, you're talking about a man in a negative way. You only doing it to cause some type of conflict and get clicks and views. Let's just be honest. We already saw them on the plane with Ja Rule stirring up a pillow fight. So we know that these dudes will do things to move the zeitgeist. It's embarrassing, gang. But let me continue. Jim Jones goes off on Tony Yayo and says he's doing bad and 50 Cent needs to help him after Memphis Bleek talks about how he said Jay-Z needs to take care of him. Quote, he said something about me, Murda responded at the 19-minute mark of the video at the bottom of the page. I ain't hear this. So before I get any further, I need to in case they clip the video that I show in the beginning, they might clip the video and it might not be there. So I got to explain what happened. As they were talking about Bleek saying that these guys would be in a shelter somewhere if they didn't have 50 Cent holding their hand, he said that Tony Yayo can't even wear his chain without 50 Cent telling him to wear it or being around. Murda was sitting there letting Yayo talk, but then Gilly sprung up and said that Bleek said something about Murda, and here we are. Murda went in full-on crash out mode, just in case the video is removed from the beginning of my thing. All right, let me continue. He said, I ain't hear this. Maybe it wasn't you, Gilly backtracked before he continued by appearing to paraphrase Bleek's comment. If 50 stop effing with these N-words for a year, it'll be over. Gilly seemed to be referencing Bleek's appearance on The Breakfast Club earlier this month, where he fired back at Yayo for saying that Jay-Z don't help nobody. My thing is, gang, listen. There is a lot of people using each other for content. It's one thing to have a conversation, but this thing has devolved into, we could go house for house, car for car, bank account for bank account. I got money in my safe. We can go to the safe. It devolved. I took the kids to Disneyland. It's devolved into nonsense. We're way too grown. And I'm going to get to the grown man part about it because when we talking business, who got some more successful business, anybody that knows real business knows that businesses are up and down. It's up today, it's down tomorrow. You can't sit there and brag about a company. Airbnb is doing bad right now. It's multi-million-dollar businesses that are doing terrible. If you go on YouTube for any amount of time, they'll tell you 45 companies that used to be top of the food chain, and they are out of business now. So you can't brag about business. That's the #1 rule. You can't brag. Why my business up? Look at your business. That's stupid. Because businesses go up, they go down. You got to roll with the times. You got to change. You got to adapt. You got to be in control of your business. You can't sit up there and brag because your business is doing good. My restaurant, restaurants are 95% of restaurants closed. So you bragging on a restaurant, my guy. This is asinine shit. It puts out a delusional view of society that all your businesses got to be successful. That's not how this works. That's why 50 Cent declared bankruptcy at one point. It don't work like that. It don't work like, yes, it may be up right now. You may be in the red or the black or whatever. Things change. They flip around. Sooner or later, that business might go out. They had the business, homeboy over in London had 45 restaurants, right? I can't even think of his name right now. $300 million, this, that, and the third. Had to close them all down because it wasn't enough. At the end of the day, right? I think his name is Jamie something. Businesses go out of business. They go up and down. You can't sit there and say, well, let's match businesses. Let's see who check stubs. It's stupid. It's dumb. If you know anything about business. But let me continue, right? Gilly seemed to be referencing Bleek's appearance on the Breakfast Club earlier this month when he fired back at Yayo for saying Jay-Z don't help nobody. Quote, N-words can't compete. That's why they talk like that. If 50 said, I'm stopping for 1 year, these N-words would be in a shelter. They shouldn't be allowed to talk about us or anybody when you literally are dependent. Bleek made a point because end of the day, almost everything that Yayo and Murda does, they may have a lot of money. They may be doing really well, but it funnels through G-Unit, funnels through 50. It funnels through the opportunities that 50 allows, he puts forth for them. So to be Big Bone and Brolic talking about all this stuff that you don't got it, Bleek don't got it, you got this, that, and the third, it all comes through 50, and a lot of Bleek stuff comes through Jay. They all got to admit that, but they all got a sore spot. That's why Bleek lashed out, and that's why Uncle Murda lashed back out. It's all a sore spot because grown men want to feel like they're the muscle, they're the backbone. I do it all myself. They both had to, as they started talking, they both had to admit, yo, we perform with 50 with it. It's okay, gang. Nobody, when we get here where it's where you feel offended, like I'm confused. You guys attacked his homie. You attacked Jay. That's his man, and he gets paid with him. But when he launched back his attack, you guys launch into a tirade. We get paid with 50. Oh, so you get paid with 50, but he what? I don't understand the anger and the tension and the frustration because all of you get paid with guys that have a bigger name than you in this business. What is the problem? Let me continue. Bleek did not bring up Murda directly, though. Of course, the Brooklyn rapper has been at Yayo's side supporting 50 Cent on the superstar's recent tours and the club appearances. After being told that Bleek said something about him directly, Murda went nuclear, proposing they compare their business earnings. Quote, we could continue to do month for month and see who's making more money as far as that business is concerned. This is ego and pride talking at this point. At this point, this is a man trying to prove something to himself. Because nobody's questioning that you don't make money. We see you all over the world flying, doing this, that, and the third murder. There's no reason to have this kind of aggression and anger. We get it. It's a touchy situation, but we need to understand we all are grown men here. And businesses go up, we go down. We all want to stay out of prison. We all want to stay out of jail. We all came from the hood. This is all new to all of us when we are learning that it's this much money because we're not born into this. None of us. None of us were born into this. So to try to say, oh, then we gonna check nuts, nigga, look at my money, look at yours, that's just like Dame Dash with the my dentist make more money than your dentist. We can have our dentists match Ferraris. It gets stupid. It gets stupid for grown men to be talking about matching up money because for one, a lot of people can have money and have miserable lives. And the kids hate them, their wife hate them. They can be miserable people. So we don't rate men. We don't rate men by how much money they make. Look at Will Smith. Okay? We don't call you a man or question how strong your manhood is because you make so much or you make so little. It's guys out here working a 9 to 5 that make sure the whole house is taken care of, food on the table, everything. And they don't make a lot of money, but they will be at work in the morning throwing bricks and doing this, that, and the third. You can't say that he's not a good man because he don't make all this money doing shows with 50 Cent. It don't make no sense. So that argument is it's null and void talking about who got the most money. It's silly. You guys are blessed to make money. You shouldn't be cursing yourself trying to sit there and brag about it. Okay? Because it could be a snap of a finger, poof, it's gone. And all of a sudden, it ain't all that money no more. And all that money in the safe gone. It could be, and what Tony Yayo said, I'll be back in the trap. That might be, gang, I'm just going to be honest. I ain't got no problem with Tony Yayo. Let me keep this open and honest. I have no problem with Tony Yayo before it gets to whatever he feeling the way. Whoever might watch this and feel the way, I don't have no problem with none of you niggas. But what I'm going to say is this. That might be the single-handedly most dumbest shit I've heard in 2026. And I know he didn't think it through. He said, I'll be in the trap. He said that shit with his chest. He was very confident and adamant about that. That is nonsense. Absolute nonsense to say I'll be in the trap when you got a multi-million-dollar company right there, right before you. There ain't no be in the trap. You literally proved Bleek's point by saying Memphis Bleek's point by saying that. He said if 50 drop you guys tomorrow, you would be in a shelter. And you said, no, I wouldn't. I would be in the trap. Gang, you got to think these things through, Murda. You're bigger than this. You're better than this. And I heard that he cleaned it up. Okay? But let me keep this pushing. We're going to get this wrapped up. We could go month for month to see who's making more money as far as business is concerned. We can go business for business as far as that, right? Murda then took a personal swipe at Bleek. The only Bleek verse I ever effing liked is the one that Jay-Z wrote. I ain't never like a Bleek verse that he wrote by himself. F out of here. N-words ain't no Memphis Bleek fans like that either. That right there was just trying to hurt him, right? You lashing out. You just trying to hurt Bleek. It is what it is. I'm sure Bleek took, I heard the follower Bleek laughed at it this down the third. Now, this is what it is. I'm seeing a lot of elder statements. I just saw 38 Special clashing with Jim Jones and who else he clashed with? Jada Kiss and Fat Joe. These are men 45, 50 years old, or 38 Special is 41, but he old enough to know. I'm seeing a lot of clashing for clout. That's what we might have to start calling it, clashing for clout. These guys have no intentions on really fist fighting nowhere, Lord willing. Hopefully it never gets to that. Nobody gets stabbed, shot, killed, or hurt. We beyond that. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say something else that may be a little jarring and shocking, but I thought the whole thing with Ja Rule was a little childish too. We real grown. Y'all guys making millions of dollars for you to be on a plane antagonizing that man with a camera out. That right there, but we know what that was. That was clashing for clout. None of y'all was going to fight because you're not going to lose your fight privilege. And so why we acting like we might? And then Yayo said if Ja Rule would have got off that same plane with him, he would have had 50 dudes outside of the airport to snatch him out of his Uber and beat him up. I'm like, gang, we got to do better than this. And I know it's a lot of money. That's the saddest thing about it, gang. They get sponsorships to act immature. There's so many ways they can take this podcast and still get the clicks and views. It doesn't have to be this. But like I said, I blame Nori because Nori showed them how to fish. They get money now doing the same thing. It was Nori, it was Yayo, all these great personalities that somebody said, yo, put a podcast mic in front of him. He's great. Took them all years to figure it out. But once they figured it out, they're like, oh, if you get more views, you get more money. Say less. Well, how do you get views? You clash with niggas. Say less. So this is where we are. My OGs are literally going out of their way to clash. All of these podcasts, Bag Fuel included, all of these podcasts are finding ways to get the most salacious nonsense out there. And it is what it is. I've adapted to it. I accept it. I say this is what it's going to be. I'm not going to sit and keep crying to these dudes to change. I'm just going to call it out when they don't. All right, I'm going to leave it at that, man. Let me know what you think in the comments about these OGs and how embarrassing this has gotten. All right, CLBMG, head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. And it's no disrespect in this. This is just real talk. For the people who are going to watch this and feel away, it's just real talk. It's no disrespect. It's just having a conversation, me and you, old nigga for old nigga, okay? End of the day. Also, new music alert. My guy, 4 Hours Ugly Professor. I'm on there. I got several tracks on there. Other really dope MCs are on this record. The record is called Addition by Subtraction, right? I believe either Subtraction by Addition or one or the other, right? But end of the day, go search that 4 Hours The Ugly Professor, Addition by Subtraction. If you want to hear the music that I put on my morning show every day, that track is on there and others. It's a really strong record. Lock into that new music. Videos are coming, this, that, and the third, all right? Head on over to my Patreon, sign up over there. I put new stuff up daily, and I do stuff for subscribers, but you can join for free, all right? Listen, I'll be back tomorrow. Lock in 8 a.m. on the This, That, and the Third morning show. Tap in Monday through Fridays. Gang, I am out of here. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look,
mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like Pats fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here and we ain't the cheese, we the trap.